Hello again and welcome to Ndudu by Fafa. Hello gorgeous kings and queens. Welcome to an experience with Fafa. And today I'm making bolognese sauce. My signature bolognese sauce that brings everybody to the yard. Anyway, so I'm starting off. I've added a little bit of olive oil and butter, and I'm just going to melt that beautifully. Yet again, I'm cooking on a medium heat. To that, I've added my diced carrots. Yes, I'm going to sweat that just for about 30 seconds. And the next thing is I'm adding my celery. So these are my aromatics. Yes, I'm mixing everything together, as you can tell, till it's well combined. The next thing is I'm adding onions. And I'm using red onions. You can use your normal onions, not a problem. Mix everything together yet again till it's combined. Now let's continue intensifying this flavor. So I'm adding my fresh 3 bay leaves. As you can tell, you can use your dry bay leaves, not a problem. And then I'm going to be adding my salt to taste. Reason is the salt would extract all the moisture from these aromatics, and what is going to happen is the flavor is just going to intensify. So I've slow cooked this for 15 minutes on a very low heat, and you can just tell that it's looking translucent in itself. This point, I do add my chopped garlic. You can crush your garlic, but I prefer it this way. Reason is, by the time I finish cooking this, the garlic would have melted beautifully into my sauce. This is not any other food. This is Ndudu by Fafa. So at this point, my aromatics are ready for me to add my ground beef. You can use your veal, your lamb, your pork. Try goat meat. That will be exciting. Anyway, if this is your first time, you're welcome, and thank you very much for tuning in. Yes, if you like what you see so far, do not forget to click the subscribe button whilst you're here and the notification button. Select all, which means you do not miss any other upload. Anyway, at this point, I'm going to be browning my meat, and this will take me about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, this is a long process, yes. I mean, it took an entire 10 hours to make this bolognese sauce. So usually when I make it, I'm making a huge batch and I separate it and freeze it and use it as and when a recipe requires it. It's such an incredible dish to have, definitely. So anyway, at this point it looks good, and I'm just, milling my fresh black peppercorns in there, as you can tell. And then the next thing, which is the secret ingredient and so important, is for you to grate some nutmeg into this mixture. And of course, mix everything together until it's well combined. Flavor zone, okay, me meal sedena banuka. And guess what? I had to add my second secret ingredient, which is milk. Now, this is optional, but definitely it makes a big difference to my sauce. Absolutely. Not only does it help, break the muscle structure of the meat and makes it softer and creamy and beautiful, but it just makes my sauce that, reason why it brings everyone to the yard. So usually during winter, when I make my bolognese sauce, I use my red wine. But during summer, I need it light, so I tend to use white wine. But because of the lockdown, I didn't have the white wine, but I do have my Prosecco. Now, if you've been following me, you know that me and Prosecco, we're first cousins. So yes, you can just tell I'm just pouring my Prosecco in as one should. But if you do have your white wine, yes. And it has to be a very good bottle of white wine, one that, you would like to drink. I don't understand this thing where people would rather cook with wines that they wouldn't particularly like to drink. You're about to eat it. What are you on about? Anyway, enough of the rant. So just mixed everything together, as you can tell, and I'm going to allow this to simmer. Yes, and it's just going to be nice and beautiful. And you can just tell that the butter and the olive oil is settling at the top. Now I know that I'm almost there. Now just ensure that you're cooking on that very low heat. Now especially when you do add the milk, it might come across like a splitting, but don't be alarmed. It just reduces and it just works beautifully. At this point, I'm adding 1 tin tomatoes. Yes, you can use your fresh tomatoes, but this is a lockdown menu. So I'm adding 2 cups of water, yes, of the tinned tomatoes, as you can tell. I'll leave all the list of ingredients and measurements on my blog, Ndudu by Fafa.blogspot.com, so do check it out. Yes. And yeah, the next thing is I'll be adding my tomato puree. And I'm just going to mix all of this together till it's well combined. So this is almost like a soup. So now you can understand why it took almost 10 hours to make this. Because I'm going to allow this to simmer on that very low heat. Now somebody might ask, can I just not cook it on a high heat and, over and done with? Now I did research this recipe, definitely, and this was the best way that I find works for me, so that became my signature dish. And of course, at this point, I've added my dried rosemary, and that just gives this extra flavor to my bolognese sauce. And the next thing is I'm adding some cayenne pepper, just about half a teaspoonful. Don't want it to be too spicy, I just want it so. And of course, I've mixed everything together till it's well combined. And this is just going to simmer for another about 30 minutes. But look at this beauty. This is not any other food. This is Ndudu by Fafa. Chef for you with that. And yes, this is ready after spending almost the entire day making this beautiful sauce. Have I given you that reason to click that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, and the notification button so you do not miss any new uploads? Absolutely. I tasted my bolognese sauce and it needed that little bit of salt and freshly milled black peppercorns. So this is exactly what I've done, and I'm just going to mix it and allow this to simmer for a further 5 minutes. So you see, here is your pièce de résistance. Look at the sauce and tell me it's any other sauce. Absolutely. And yeah, I'm ready now to mix stuff. So here I've got my saucepan and I've got my water. I'm adding my salt, as you can tell. And guess what? Clumsily, I drop my spaghetti in there. Now follow the instructions on your packet as to how long you should cook your spaghetti for. But I like mine al dente, which means that it has a little bite to it. So I usually cook it for about 6 to 8 minutes. But each time I would take a strand out and taste and just make sure I've got that bite. And once I do, I then strain it. Absolutely. This is bish bash bosh. Now what I love about the bolognese sauce is it complements a lot of dishes. I've had it with my jollof rice. Yes, it's incredible. I've used it in making a pie. Yes, absolutely. You can make your, cottage pie with it, depending on your, the preferred meats that you use. So you can make your cottage or shepherd's pie as well with this. So it is a sauce that is so versatile that you can serve it with a lot of dishes. So if I check, my spaghetti is perfect now. And this is how I like it. So now let's do some mix. Why not? Look at this. When we're talking about spaghetti bolognese and you want a summer version, it's light in flavor, but it's packed with natural flavors. And the key to this is, of course, slow cooking every ingredient as you did watch. Make a huge batch, freeze it. And I hope everyone is taking very good care of themselves. Please don't forget to wash your hands, use your hand sanitizer if you're going out. Yes, and your mask if you're going out as well. Keep that social distancing alive. We need you all alive. Yes, we're in this together. And don't forget to treat yourself from time to time with recipes like this. Of course, I've just drizzled with a little bit of parmesan, as one does, and zhuzhed it with some fennel leaves. But yes, this is not any other food. This is Ndudu by Fafa. Now, naturally, I'd leave the list of ingredients and measurements on my blog, ndudubyfafa.blogspot.com, so do check it out. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat as Ndudu by Fafa, so do pass by and say hi. Well, thank you very much for my theme song, and until next time, kings and queens, thank you very much for watching. And as I always say, if you're ever going to change for you. Me love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Toodles.